get it.
Mbijan raganyadi.
Albaka.
Mbaka important.
Yo, nga transfer la sto.
Ya transfer la sto.
Ha, code nyinji.
Okay. Korsa. Nsila ID soto.
Sa soto. Sorry. I get it.
Mbijan bro.
Albaka.
Mbaka.
Bara alla service o tariaka. Mbare ki janna nun kunu bara tariaka.
Jannom yona forest de bureau. Gambia tonkon na no mbari ya bere. Birim koyna fo kato.
Bari si kodo kino kato ni fo bolong blabe to.
56 branches mola soto Gambia jam.
Ha?
Gambia kono ani Gambia bantala bankol. Nko kodo kiya bere to. Kodo sifa fo falindiro fo nyaadi lafta memmen na kodi to poto nin kodi maraw. Jannam number 1 di nyonta. Andum fana nata anoda enterprise sotale. Wolam nyindi ko domorol fana kol fana be firale de dadi mani domorol dir fana beteat. Gambia dawda yalo ngam fa kendol sotale je.
Wo moyo diat.
Apelenta
ni wo ka ni lafta nyelen kendol e bina.
Yalo bu kanyi la ko la baraka ba.
Yalo ndel chosano lo.
Abaraka.
Him that the last time he sent the money, it was not enough to buy all the provisions.
Oh, sorry, I forgot to tell him.
Are you guys talking about money transfer to buy provisions?
Yes.
But
don't you know about Baluwo?
Baluwo? What is Baluwo?
Baluwo is a service that your son can use to send provisions directly to you guys from the shop. And you don't have to worry about the exchange rate.
Tell me how Baluwo works.
It's very simple.
Just log on to baluwo.com and shop, or download the app on your phone. You can shop on the website or using the app to buy online basic products for your family and friends. With Baluwo, you decide what your money is spent on. Your money, your choice. Buy online products for your family and friends in the Gambia, Senegal, Nigeria or Mali. Baluwo, better than sending money.
For the first time in the history of the Gambia, Gambia Printing Publishing Corporation proudly introduces the Biliomatic exercise book printing machine. The machine has the capacity to print more than 20,000 books per hour. Yes, 20,000 books per hour. It also prints magazines, newspapers, calendars, flyers, normal books and all kinds of printed documents plus items at affordable prices. With the Biliomatic printing machine, GPPC can now render high-quality and non-size restricted printing service supply across the sub-region. Rush now and partner with GPPC for all your public and private printing service needs. Print with us today and you'd be offered highly professional, reliable and efficient service delivery by our team of experts. The Gambia Printing and Publishing Corporation is here to meet all demands and is reliable at all times. For more info, contact us on 437-4493 or 437-4402. GPPC is Gambian and it's yours.
Gambia Social Registry Household Data Collection Exercise. The government of the Gambia, with support from World Bank, is developing a social registry as part of its move towards an integrated social protection system in the country. Gambia Social Registry will serve as a single entry point for the various social protection programs in the Gambia and will be hosted by the National Social Protection Secretariat at the Office of the Vice President. The social registry shall comprise households' demographic and socio-economic data. This information will guide future social protection program interventions in the Gambia and facilitate rapid identification of beneficiaries for programs. It will have the capability to be linked to other databases when these databases become automated. The enumeration teams from Gambia Bureau of Statistics, GBOS, will visit, interview and register every household in your community, so don't be left out. However, inclusion in the registry does not automatically qualify one for a particular social program. Social Registry has taken consideration of the key principles for personal data protection. Therefore, your data shall be confidential and protected. In view of this, we call on all and sundry to register their households with enumerators from GBOS. This message is brought to you by the Department of Information Services under the Ministry of Information.
And welcome to the brunch on Kerfatu. I am Lamin Cham, and this is our weekly look at current affairs. This week, we will continue, of course, with a look at the fallout from President Barrow's controversial remarks during his provincial tour, during which he opened political bureaus as well as presided over the inauguration of a number of development projects. Well, we heard from critics last week. This week we'll hear from presidential advisor who, as already has been highlighted, thinks that the president's statements were blown out of proportion, and he indeed did not mean anything that anybody should be concerned with. First, though, we will go to the border between Gambia and Senegal, because only a few days ago it was reported in the media that there has been a standoff between the Gambia armed forces and their counterparts in Senegal. Again, it involved a village called Tranquil that is believed to be inside the Gambia, but where authorities believe they are in Senegal. A number of times, Senegalese troops have come to the village, which of course is seen to be a violation of Gambian territory. There have been many mediation efforts, we understand, by the Senegalo-Gambian Permanent Secretariat, the Governor's Office in West Coast, National Intelligence, and other security have been going to the border each time there is a crisis. So we will go and visit the history of this thing and give our thoughts as to what should be done by the two authorities, the Senegal and the Gambia, to ensure that there is nothing very serious to come out of that. We'll also discuss a little bit of Senegal, because we heard that a judge in Ziguinchor have made a ruling which seemed to suggest that the jailed opposition leader Ousmane Sonko may after all be eligible to contest in the 2024 elections. Is this final, or the process is still ongoing? We will educate ourselves with that and give our perspectives. And with me in the studio to do that, on my far right, is Kemeseng Sanneh, who is a blogger and activist as well as a journalist who've been following developments, I must say, on-the-spot developments in various matters in the Gambia. The Honorable Saihou Mballow is the advisor of the President on political matters. He is with me in the studio. Mr. Mballow, welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Cham.
And Demba Jawo, who we must congratulate, has just been made chairman of the Victim Center. That is, of course, the Center for Victims of the past, the Yaya Jammeh regime. Thank you and welcome. Congratulations, Mr. Jawo. We will talk a little bit about that. So let's go to Kex. As has been reported, there is this little village called Tranquil. Ironically, it has not been that tranquil over the past 4 years or so because of this near standoffs between the two armed forces over this village. What exactly, and where is this Tranquil, and what exactly has been happening?
Yeah, thank you very much. Tranquil, it's a village that is both countries are actually agreeing that it belongs to the Gambia, and others are claiming that it's part of Senegal. And there's an alcalo that associate him or has himself with the Gambian authority, that he is the alcalo of that very community. So, but because of the poor demarcation of our borders in terms of to know where is Gambia stops, and this has been an issue for far too long, that we could not actually do a proper demarcation of our borders. And I could remember the National Assembly member for Brikama North, Alaji Lamin Sanneh, has always bring this issue to the parliament. I think one time they even summoned the Minister of Defense and that of the Ministry of Lands to come and intervene in regards to the issue that was happening just closer to that place. That's the Dimbaya border and that of the Jibora border, when actually the communities actually, you will see a village where the start of the compound will be in the Gambian territory, where the other part of the compound or the bathroom will be in the other part of Senegal. And sometimes there is this issue that is coming because the securities of Senegal will come into the Gambia because they believe that that's the part of their country with their arms and ammunition. But if you go and look at the hot pursuit agreement, that says that the armed forces cannot come with arms inside the country of the Gambia without notifying the Gambian authority. So you will see that there will be a confrontation between the two issues. So the same thing continues, that the same trend continues until we have this tranquil issue. And it's a community that the two countries are actually claiming to be part of their territory, and because of the poor demarcation and the issue of Senegalese authorities will all the time come there with their arms well equipped and enter in the Gambia, and Gambians feel this is something that is disrespect to our integrity, our territorial integrity in terms of our country, and they feel like there are protocols when they are coming with arms that has to be respected or has to be fulfilled prior to before coming. And there have been several warnings in terms of such natures. I could remember there was a time when such issues came up at the national when we went with the Security and Defense Committee of the National Assembly, headed by Honorable Sidin Jai. When we went to Jibora border, there was an issue that came up with the committee, that they forwarded to the committee of the same scenario like what is happening in Tranquil at the Jibora borders, when the commander in there said that actually they need to sit down with the Senegalese authority in terms of negotiating how the Senegalese soldiers normally comes inside the country, in terms of pursuing criminals or even sometimes pursuing these timber dealers inside the country. So they feel like the protocols are not actually being respected in terms of they even narrate a scenario where a truck was chased from the Senegal and it entered up to Jibora inside the Gambian soil, and when these people caught him, they just pour kerosene on the vehicle and just burn it in the Gambian soil. Which they feel like it's the highest level of disrespect when it comes to the two countries. And the commander was even, he said, hadn't been that it was not one of his Guinea who hold him, he would have opened fire on those people, because that was the highest level of provocation. So these are some of the issues that actually happened, and similar thing that is what is happening in Tranquil right now. And unless we address this issue of trying to actually sit down as two countries, as sister countries, and demarcate our borders to understand that, okay, this is what is part of the Gambia, and have some of these agreements in terms of, the hot pursuit agreement has to be respected, because it's like, it's become panic in the community when you see soldiers running with guns inside your country, and Gambian soldiers are telling you that they will term them as rebels because they are not being informed, or there's something that they are, so they might open fire, because that's also part of their responsibility to protect their own country.
The last incident, the army is not saying much, obviously being a sensitive issue, but at least the PRO confirmed to the media that they actually denied the Senegalese, they had blocked them from entering. Yeah,
absolutely. That was their last, when we went with the Security and Defense Committee, that was their promise that they gave. Next time, if it happens without due communication, they will not allow those people to come. And if it was for them to open fire, they will definitely do that to protect the country, because they swore to protect the territorial integrity of this country from internal or external attacks. And for them, they consider these people, as far as the due process that is required are not met, they will see them as an attack to our country, so they will open fire, or they will not even allow them. But if they insist, there will be any. But not only that, they also even talks about the issue of the pegs that are put into the borders. The security said they noticed that these pegs have been moved time to time. They will see that because they said they have been monitoring, and they found out that the pegs that divide the two countries, so they will sometimes see that if it is there, because they made a block around that area just to see, because they suspected that the pegs have been moved over the night. Because of them, they didn't have the mobility to be all the time rotating our borders. But these Senegalese authorities are always at the border, so late in the night they will just remove the peg from where its original place it and move it inside the Gambian's territory. So they said they were monitoring those situations, and they put a mark to actually know. After 2 weeks, they came, they see that it have moved almost 10 meters inside the Gambian territory. So all these things are, so they said, these are issues that are actually, for them, they see it as a disrespect to our country, and they have use all mechanism in place by talking to their authorities, but they have not seen any solution. And for them, they are now ready, since they have taken an oath to defend the country. They will do all the necessary it takes at their disposal to make sure that they make an end to such type of issues that are coming.
I'm reading from Foria. They have covered this thing. I think the last one was July this year. When there was a representative from the Senegalese High Commission and the ministerial delegation from the Gambia government met in Dar es Salaam with El Carlo and other leaders in that area to engage in dialogue with a view to handle the Tranquil border disputes, which resulted to the arrest of its El Carlo. So the Alcalo was arrested before?
Yes, the Alcalo was arrested because the Alcalo sometimes he sounds so funny. You barely know whether he's a Gambian or sometimes whether he's a Senegal, because he portray himself rather he's representing both countries, and you cannot have what we call a dual citizen in terms of these issues between the Gambia. You must be allegiant to one country, more especially when you are an Alcalo, a head of a community, because at the end of the day, where your loyalty lies in terms of crisis.
What do the villagers make of themselves, Senegalese or Gambian, the villagers?
Yeah, some. If you look at some compounds, they will. Some are having even two nationalities, both countries. They are documents, but you will find out that some parts are in Senegal, but some parts are in the Gambia. So they associate, like for them, they see themselves both. They feel like they are
in both countries.
Both countries,
so
yeah. When it comes to issues of Gambia, sometimes they will align with the Gambia. When there's another issue in Senegal, they will go and ally with it. There are scenarios in our investigation if we reveal that they vote in both types of the countries. Sometimes in terms of others.
Everywhere.
So all these things are issues. They have all the national documents of both countries. So actually, it needs a thorough step from the authorities to look at this matter, because actually it is going out of hand, and if the necessary steps are not taken, it might
it looks like what is lacking is a definitive demarcation to say,
absolutely,
look, this village is in the Gambia or in
Senegal.
That is where the two authorities fail to establish. Actually, we've been told also about mediation by the Senegalo-Gambian Permanent Secretariat.
Yeah, actually, I was not. Keba Toure covered that event when they got there, one of our reporters. Yeah, but that's not even the first time. They have been trying to sit down and discuss about so many border issues, not only even borders, but the trade between the two countries and other types of free movement of goods and service. They have always having this type of engagement to see how best they can have an amicable solution in terms of some of the issues that are coming up. But it looks like they are not yielding fruit in terms of actually the negotiation, because we see them popping up all the time. Even the trade movement of trade. Sometimes you will see the Gambia Transport Union will say that our vehicles have been stopped at the border, we should not be allowed to enter, but you will see the Senegalese vehicles, so they will close their borders, or they will also go and station on themselves. So these are issues that are coming up, and I think the Senegalo-Gambia Secretariat was established primarily to bring a smooth relationship between the two countries in terms of business, in terms of these border issues, and so many issues. But I think up to now we cannot actually achieve the purpose of the establishment of that secretariat. I don't know where is the breach of communication, where it is, but sometimes when you investigate, you find out that parties are more into what do we say, looking at their own interest rather than the collective interest of our both countries. So you look at other parts will be actually more of defending their own interest rather than the interest of, and these guys too also will not accept such things, because they also look at their interest. So interest play a key part in terms of why we cannot come into agreement in terms of such of these issues.
Well, Mr. Mballow, I know this is one area that is not really under your purview, but personally, how do you think we go about this? It looks like the problem lies on lack of a definitive demarcation, agreement between the two countries to say, this is in the territory of the Gambia, this is in the territory of Senegal. This is where the disagreement is.
Absolutely.
Yes. How do we go about this, you think?
Well, thank you, Mr. Cham, and thank you, Mr. Sanneh, for giving us the background of this border issue. And before going any further, I would like to congratulate Mr. Demba Jawo, who has just been appointed, I don't know, appointed or selected as the chairperson.
Were you elected? You were selected?
You were elected. Congratulations for your recent elections. For being the chairperson of the Victim Center. Let me coming back to the issue of the border at Tranquil. I'm not well aware about the situation, but I mean, in the recent past, I have came across correspondence of the Senegambia Secretariat, like what Mr. Ken has just stated. There have been a committee that we are given the responsibility of working to make sure that this problem is addressed amicably. Although I don't know what is their final decision, what decision have they taken, but thank God, Mr. Cham, today we have matured leader in both countries.
Yeah.
That's Mr. President Macky Sall and also President Adama Barrow. But let us put in mind, leaders come and go.
Absolutely.
We have to put certain mechanism whereby in the future when we have leaders who does not have the tolerance, they will not plunge these two countries into chaos. Because this is what happened. If you remember the problem of Iraq and Iran, having leaders who have somebody like Saddam Hussein, who is very intolerant, who is very aggressive. He went and annexed part of Kuwait into Iraq, claiming that it was a border issue. Kuwait is part of is a southern province of Iraq. I think you can remember.
1990.
He did that.
He invaded.
And it was, there was a big problem.
Yeah, there was
the United Nations has to come up with a resolution. United Nations resolution to make sure that he withdraw from that area and come back.
That was
he refused. Nearly there, he plunged that area into
chaos,
problem. God forbid, in the future, if we have a president here in the Gambia who is very aggressive, who is intolerant, and Senegal likewise, they are going to plunge these two countries into war.
You are suggesting that I mean, there is a great opportunity now for understanding.
Even
that the two heads of state,
they are matured and they see Gambia and Senegal as one people in different countries. I think that's how they see this thing. And I know there won't be any serious problem. They would, but it is their responsibility now to make sure that they address this thing before they vacate their positions.
I think
that is my advice.
I think we should commend the conduct of the armed forces, also the security forces.
Yes.
I mean, each time they stick up, they always go there with cool head. They are not overzealous or overexcited. Otherwise, the story would have been different. I think we should commend the conduct of the
of our security forces. I think they also, they need to be commended. They're dealing with the situation maturely because they understand that these two countries, the people are the same. I think our security knows that. There are people who are Gambians here, they have brothers in Senegal.
Absolutely.
They have uncles in Senegal. They have aunties in Senegal. There are Senegalese likewise who have family members in Gambia. So putting these two countries into a bad blood is not to the interest of any of these two countries. So that is very good. But like I said, I hope the Senegal or Gambia Secretariat would make sure that they address this thing as soon as possible. Good. That's my address on the issue.
Jawo, I know with the short time you spend in cabinet, you never come across these things. But then you, as a citizen, you've been following this.
Of course, I've been. In fact, I agree with Mr. Mballow. I think they should take advantage of the fact that there is very good relationship between the two governments right now.
Exactly.
And they should definitely address this issue because it's a very contentious issue and it could be very dangerous in the future, especially when there is a problem between the two governments. So I think they should definitely try as much as possible to address the issue as soon as possible. They can form an inter.
There exists, in fact, such a group.
Border demarcation commission comprises of representatives of both governments, so that they would clearly demarcate the border. The borders, as Kek alluded to. I think I had the governor of LRR during President Barrow's recent tour in Kabada area. He was complaining that the border posts are being shifted. They suspect that somebody is shifting the border.
So it's not only that area. Then it's
it's all even in Kabada. He was complaining that it's happening. I think these issues should be addressed definitely. It's an opportunity for the two governments. The relationship between the two governments is so good that they can definitely take advantage of it and make sure that all these problems are resolved once and for all.
Yeah. That's interesting. Right. Let's still with the border issue. I think they use the government. The two governments used to meet the ministerial conference. It just happened not long ago. I think some of these things do come. Mr. Mballow, did you take part in that? These things didn't come up.
Well, there were so many agreements, bilateral cooperation signed between the two countries in terms of security, in terms of, I think, even border. So many things.
Yeah.
So I don't know. That's why I said, we have to make sure that we go after this thing and push for quicker action to be taken. But I know in the recent visit of President Macky Sall in the Gambia, so many accords were signed between the two countries. And I don't know whether this particular issue of Tranquil was dealt with. But however, me as the special advisor on political affairs and who is responsible to make sure that government policies are implemented for the interest of the government, I think I would follow it and push for quicker action. That's all I can tell you.
Right, Kex, we go back to you again. This time, of course, we're discussing the Senegalese issue. There's this new impetus we've got in the Senegalese politics. I think we first thought, okay, for Sonko, his case is done and dusted. He cannot take part in the elections because he's been, sentenced to, 2 years or whatever the time is, and that disqualified him. We had a few days ago a ruling that seemed to suggest that he can contest or at least can fill the forms. Can you take us through what exactly happened? There was a lot of excitement in Ziguinchor, in Casamance, where the ruling happened. What exactly happened there?
Yeah, Senegal, the election process in Senegal, actually normally when you look at it, it's in 4 steps before one is actually qualified to be a candidate. Not only that you obtain a register or a voter's card, you can be eligible to vote in Senegal. It is totally different. So
it's unlike Gambia, where we said you can be voted for and vote.
Yeah.
With an ID, with a voter's card.
Yeah.
In Senegal, it goes beyond that.
Yeah, it goes beyond that. You must be put into what we call the voter registration, unless your name must be captured in the voter registration for you to be eligible. Not that only obtaining that voter registration. But the problem with Sonko, it's first that the problem that he have is what we call DGE in Senegal. They are responsible. They are under the Ministry of Interior.
But do they have electoral power? They
They are the ones who actually they are the responsible for the logistics and also giving you what we call these forms. That is the registration forms for them to accept your register.
Is that different from Sena? Sena
supervise the election process. They want the ones who supervise it. These ones are the ones who are responsible in terms of the logistics, where they will give you what we call the go ahead to say that, okay, they give you a form to confirm your eligibility candidature.
For whatever position?
No, they deal with presidential and their
Senate or whatever.
Senate, the governors. Those are the tools that they are. So they are the ones who deny Sonko to give him his electoral process documents. They say that he cannot have what we call those things. Then he went to the Supreme Court and they challenged that the Supreme Court affirmed the decision of
these people, Ministry of
Interior's department, that he should not be actually given those things. Then that was the time Sonko went to the court of Ziguinchor, and the Ziguinchor court made a ruling and determination that the actions they rule in favor of Sonko, that his name should not be removed from the electoral list and he should also contest in an election. But that is not the end of that. Actually, he has to go back to the constitutional court. That's where Sonko will appeal. The government wants to appeal. They already even show their interest that they will appeal against the.
So the government now wants to appeal this ruling.
This ruling of Ziguinchor.
We understand there has been a lot of drama even in this case.
Yeah.
It took 17 hours or nearly 24 hours from morning, or let's say 17 hours in the morning, and so many dramas.
Absolutely.
Before the judge can come at his ruling. This morning I was watching a Wal Fajri panel which suggested that, there were even questions as to whether the judge has jurisdiction to try it because Sonko is living in Dakar, and he had to prove that. The defense had to prove that Sonko is actually the mayor of Ziguinchor.
Yes.
So he definitely had every right to it.
Yeah, actually, the whole issue of Sonko, it's more of Macky Sall, not actually, more of a witch hunt rather than somebody could have said it. Because if you look at even prior to this, if you go to their court of appeal, presently the person who is sitting there as the judge, one of the judge in the court of appeal was the one who convicted Sonko in terms of the issue that he have with Ajisar. So at the magistrate court. Yeah. So the moment he convicted Sonko, he knows that Sonko is going to the court of appeal to appeal. Macky Sall moved that man from the magistrate court and take him to the court of appeal
to wait for
Sonko.
so you believe Macky is giving
so automatically that man has already taken a position. So automatically, and you need to have 3. people to sit over it. He went again, and there's this guy who is one of his, I don't know, the borough, like, I don't know, there's these soldiers that we call personal assistant to the president.
Okay.
They are called, I don't know, something like that. One of our sister now is taken to make the Supreme Court, the Court of Appeal, it should be 3.
Yeah.
And that person will be the second person. So when you go in for, if this even supported the decision of the, maintain still now the older decision, and this one people go against it, so it will be 2 against 1. And in Court of Appeal, when it's 2 against 1, automatically the majority, what they decide, carries this.
So Sonko still have a big hurdle.
A big hurdle in terms
because
of...
you believe that the people, the court is going to resort to, or the appeal that the government made, they have judges that they're going to do their bidding.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the fear that we have. That's what we have. But actually, Sonko didn't stop there. Sonko also filed a case in Senegal, and not only in Senegal, but he also went to the ECOWAS court and filed a case at the ECOWAS court in terms of how they dissolve his political party, the announcement that was made. He challenged that at the ECOWAS court. So how soon that decision of the ECOWAS court will come and the decision in Senegal's Supreme Court will come will determine the fate of Ousmane Sonko. In terms of actually what we've done. But in Senegal, like I told you, in terms of obtaining a voter's card is not only qualifies once to vote. You must be in the voters list. Your name must be captured there. So what people are arguing that it has to take a duration of 6 months, but this was reduced to 1 month by Macky Sall, that people have to come and put there. So if they believe that Ousmane Sonko is from Bakau area, and the majority of the people of Bakau will vote for Ousmane Sonko. So when they go there for their names to be captured in the main voter registration, they have constraint. There will be delays and they get frustrated. So most of the people will decide not to actually go there to actually put their names in the registration. And it was put in the workers' day, weekends they went. So most of Sonko supporters are university students, young people that are so determined. So they only have chance during the weekend, the Saturdays and Sunday, to go and do this process. And that was not actually accepted. So based on those things, they feel like there has been actually constraint in terms of conspiracy, in terms of doing all those things were targets that were done in terms of what Macky was playing, his tactics in terms of doing all those things. So the whole issue, Sonko has a long way to go in terms of before the election for him to actually be qualified, and it's left to the decision of now the Constitutional Court to whether they will affirm the decision of the Ziguinchor Court or they will still maintain the earlier decision that was made against Sonko. So that's where the final say will be. But it depends to whether the ECOWAS Court will hear before this thing. So when will the Constitutional Court sit? The election is in January, in February, 20 February. So how soon will they sit to hear this thing? And if they didn't sit, maybe if he goes to collect his election process papers from the days, they will still continue because they already deny him to give him those electoral process for him.
So there has to be a decision
before they will hand over all those things to him. So it's a battle.
So Sonko still have hurdles.
Yeah, it's a hurdle to go. But the Ziguinchor Court actually said that it's unconstitutional. He should not be. He should be part of the election. So, but that is not the final say.
Apart from that, how is the process going within Macky Sall's Benno Bokk Yakaar itself? I know that Amadou Ba, the Prime Minister, is his choice, and he recently made some cabinet reshuffles. His critics said he's got rid of everybody who didn't like his choice.
Yeah, actually, there have been allegations in Senegal that Macky Sall will tell his ministers on their face that if I lose in your area, you will lose your seat in terms of being a minister in my government. So most of the time, these ministers must actually work to make sure that his political party or whatever his government achieve whatever they want in terms of this thing. So others are arguing because of the reform is all geared towards manipulating the election. He wants this because he made it very clear that that man is his candidate and he will campaign for him and his support to make sure that that person come into power. So he feel like these are some of the people that can help me in that process, and decided to do what we call the cabinet resolve, so that he will have people that he can work hand in glove with in terms of achieving what they want. Because for them, their main target is Sonko not to come to power. That's the main target of
But Jawo will help us. But you think without Sonko, let's say in the event that Sonko didn't contest, do you think there's any powerful powerhouse in the opposition that can challenge Mr. Ba, with any hope of winning it?
Absolutely.
Or an alliance between the opposition.
Yeah, maybe the alliance, but for now, Sonko is the at least the one that one can say closer to Maki, or he's the one who is actually could remove Maki's government from power. Yeah, so far, he's the biggest opposition party in Senegal as a threat to Macky Sall's regime.
So, Mballow, I wouldn't like to drag you into this because, but in a your personal capacity,
yes.
How do you see these things?
Well, I mean, Mr. Cham, politics, as the name goes, politics is politics. Let nobody fool you.
Politics.
Politics. That's the definition of politics.
I know.
It's politics.
Yes.
Anybody involved in politics and you have no skills of maneuvering, you are done for.
But then those maneuvers.
So, these processes of courts are all part of politics. You have seen what happened here during the elections here in the Gambia, as an example, in the December 4th, 2021 elections. You see what happened.
You two played politics.
When we won the election overwhelmingly, our opponents, United Democratic Party, we are not satisfied. They thought they can come up with excuses like we have got people who came to vote from Senegal and the like. That, I mean, it's good for them. These are tricks. They wanted the results to be overturned, and that is their right to do that. However, they went, but you see the technicality of courts. They failed even before the commencement of the court in their service.
It was dismissed on
in the process. So what is happening in Senegal is not new in politics. It is very common even in the United States. You have seen between Al Gore and the George Bush elections with the popular vote and other things. These are all this is politics. I think Macky Sall is a very good I can tell you, is a very good politician. This is how otherwise if you sleep and you sit down and sleep, your opposition maneuver, they will take over.
Yeah, but sometimes people criticize him of resorting to strong arm tactics on the.
I don't support that one. I don't support any dictatorial tendencies in politics. That's one thing I don't support. I don't like that. I don't want somebody using force, excessive force.
He's often been accused of that
on the opposition. But using your skills, your political skills, your techniques to make sure that you stay in power.
State power.
That is very important.
What about using
I always like somebody to respect the constitution, the rule of law of your country, everywhere. If you do that, you are my friend and I support.
So you play politics, but make sure it's always in accordance with the law.
Accordance with your law, with your constitution. As long as what they are doing in Senegal is within the rule of law, within the constitution of Senegal, I support that. Let them go and exhaust everything at the court
level.
That's what I support.
Good. Jawo,
this Senegalese
and the latest political situation there.
Senegalese politics is very, very interesting and it's complicated as well. I mean, right now, I think they've got more than 200 people who have taken the forms. They want to contest as president.
So what we have here, that's a child's play.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I mean, I think, so that's why they have put this, what they call parrainage.
Parrainage, it's pre-qualification. I call it pre-qualification.
Exactly. Because with that parrainage, not everybody who has taken the form can definitely have this. Because you have to have a certain number of people. I don't know how many hundreds of thousands of people who must endorse your candidacy before you can become.
6% when it's come to
before
the
you
people,
can become
if
a
it is
presidential
mayor, 100
candidate.
and something.
So there is absolutely no doubt. All those 200 people who have expressed
will
interest in contesting the elections would never pass that stage of the parrainage. So it's a very complicated issue. With the case of Ousmane Sonko, as Kek said, I mean, this is just it's not going to be easy for him because the government has already appealed that the ruling by the judge in Ziguinchor, and I think in this case is the Constitutional Court which is actually supposed to have the final say, and it's very, very unlikely that the Constitutional Court will. The verdict would be in favor of Sonko. It's all possible. It's all possible. But
is it because, as Church suggested, the Constitutional Court is filled with Macky Sall appointed?
Well, it could be. It could be. It's all part of the maneuvering. It could have. These are all political maneuvering. As Mballow said, these are tricks that politicians play sometimes. It's all possible. This is I mean, it's all part of the maneuvering and other things. It's possible, but again, Senegalese judicial system is such that if you feel that somebody has a personal interest in a particular case, you can always ask for them to excuse themselves from that a particular case being discussed. And if what he said, because of the personal relationship between these people
and the family
and families and other things, the other side can always ask them to be excused from that can happen, but it's a very complicated thing. So let's only hope and pray that there is there is peace throughout the election.
What about in Macky Sall's Benno Bokk Yakaar? We've been told that certain people resign because they're not happy with his choice.
Yes. I mean, Ali Ngouille Ndiaye, for instance, who was the Minister of Agriculture, has resigned and he's going to contest on his own. And also there is Mamboy Jawo, who is also, I think he was also one of the members. He also resigned from his work. He wants to also contest as president. They are all part of the Macky camp, but they have gone their different ways. And then the former Prime Minister also, John.
I saw him.
He also has gone. I think he's also interested in contesting it. So these are all the Macky camps who are actually going to maybe be a big dent on the side of Amadou Ba. Particularly, this Mamboy Jawo. He's the mayor of Kolda. And Fuladu also is a very big block as far as Maki's support base is concerned. And if they decide to support this Mamboy Jawo, then it appears Fuladu is going to be, there's a big dent on Maki's support as well. So, there's a lot of joking going around because I think the minister of this is something Balde. He said he's behind Macky and he's trying to get the Fuladu people to stay with Macky. But I don't know where.
But with this Jawo gone,
it's going to be. It's not going to be easy for Amadou Ba. But anyway, with Futa Toro area, definitely those are solidly behind him. There is no doubt because he's Maki's candidate, and they are very likely to follow him because very fact that Dauda Jallow, who was supposed to be his main opponent on that side, who is one of the mayors of the cities in Futatoro and very popular within that area. He has decided to stay with Macky camp and support Amadou Ba. Probably that is going to help him a lot in that area as well. But it's going to be tough, definitely. If Sonko is out of the way, it would be much easier for Amadou Ba. Because with Sonko in the race, it's going to be very, very tough.
But are there other candidates that suppose Sonko didn't run?
Yeah, because there are others. You have Halifa Sall, you have Malik Gaku, you have yes. Idris Seck. I don't think he's a factor. It's not very important because he's been
flip-flopping.
Exactly, flip-flopping between the different. So he's no longer a factor. But definitely, there are others who are. Karim Watt also is there, but Karim also, I don't think
he doesn't seem to be serious about it.
He doesn't carry any weight.
He didn't carry any more weight.
No, absolutely.
So it is Sonko or whoever Sonko backs.
Yeah.
What about the mayor the other mayor, who was with Sonko? I forgot his name. He was very much touted to perhaps be the one who will succeed Sonko. Not Halifa Sall. I forgot the
not Barthelemy. Barthelemy said he's not interested in contesting for the presidency. He's with Halifa actually.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's a Halifaist.
So Halifa may end up putting his name in the ballot.
Oh yeah, it's very likely. It's very, very likely. Yeah.
Okay. All right. What about? We have 5 months or so to the elections.
Yes, about 4 or 5 months. Yeah.
4 or 5 months. How about outside the Benno Bokk Yakaar? I wanted you to educate us. This Bokk, is it Askanwi? That's the opposition alliance.
Yoni Askanwi.
Yes.
Yeah,
actually, how solid is it?
No, it's no longer solid because Halifa Sall, Barthelemy Dias, and Sonko and all the others used to be in that but suddenly they've gone their different ways. Definitely Halifa and Barthelemy are no longer part of Yoni Askanwi, and it's definitely no longer the same, and they have different people who are interested in people even like Mimi Toure also.
Yeah.
She's also interested in becoming president. I think
So
Mimi had a chance at one time, but I think she also has kind of lost some ground whatsoever. So it's not going to.
So it's only when they are united that they can. Okay. All right, let's move. Well, before we move to the last topic, we will also discuss football because I'm going to have another set of panelists in the next 15-20 minutes. That is the African Nations Cup. You will follow, of course, that the Gambia has been drawn alongside Senegal, Guinea, and Cameroon. And that fixture, rather that grouping really, seem to have not just jostled neighborliness, but relations, because we're going to have Senegal in the first match of tournament. The panelists will be here, and we will discuss that as the second panel in the program. Let's move to Mr. Mballow now and give you the floor. Last week we had, well, let me not say critics, but people who are concerned very well about remarks made by President Barrow, which drew a lot of controversy, with people and organizations fearing that his utterances may suggest that he's losing his cool, and that has a tendency of driving him to usurp dictatorial tendencies. Your government has come out with a statement clarifying that the president did not mean anything like that. He was merely addressing insults, to his own person and the rest of the people in the country, and was in any way not in any mood to harass, intimidate, or persecute opposition or the media. However, criticisms continue, and now I'm giving you the floor to tell me, what do you make of the statement? I mean, everybody, there's been a lot of concern from many quarters, so not all of them are wrong, is it? Can be wrong.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Cham. That's the beauty of democracy. That's the beauty. I'm happy that Gambians today can express how they feel, can express their opinion. They have Section 25 of the Constitution that allows Gambians to express their opinion. Freedom of movement, freedom of association, freedom of the press exists in this country. We are very happy, and the president is very happy to see that when he utters something, a statement, people react to it in different ways. That is good.
Absolutely.
That does not mean that. However, Mr. Cham, Gambians have to bear in mind that President Adam Barrow is the president of the Republic of the Gambia. He should not sit by and allow anybody to incite violence, any statement that would incite violence in this country. Because if there is violence, if there is war, if there is fighting, if there is any killing, who will be blamed at the end is the president. So what he did is the right thing to do, to come out and come up with a statement. Listen, who will see what happened here with the killing of the and the PIU, Police Intervention Unit, in a nation, a terrorism act? A president would keep quiet about that? Who will allow? Where are we heading to? This is the first incident in this country for somebody to come up, get up and kill two police officers. You expect the president to silence, to keep quiet? All along people were saying the President Barrow is quiet, he doesn't talk, people are doing what they want, people are smoking, even now people are smoking ganja, they don't respect the police. There are incidences whereby even police stop people will bullshit them, nothing is happening. Do Gambians expect President Adam Barrow to be silent, keep quiet until when somebody will jump into that army camp and start shooting the army officers, security officers? No. He must give them the courage, he must send a message, a courage to Gambians and also everybody that would not be inciting violence, intimidating people in this country would not. Any form of terrorism would not be accepted in this country under President Adam Barrow. That's the message he sent. That does not mean that he is sliding into dictatorship. No, but he made a statement. People went on overreacting. People took it in any how or any way that they feel like they want to take it. But that's not the issue. The issue was a statement. A strong statement to Gambian, inciting violence. We have seen prior to this shooting, Mr. Cham. Priority distribution of police intervention unit. We have seen on Facebook, on social media, people saying that go after the police officers, kill them, we will kill them, we will shoot them, we will do this, we will do that. If that happens, what do we expect? The president to sit down again until one day we hear that somebody has killed 2 army officers, another has killed 3 immigration officers. The president has to make sure that he takes the bull by the horn. It is his responsibility. If this country today is spoiled, it's President Adam Barrow who will be blamed. That's why he came up with that statement.
Now,
but he respects the rule of law. He is calling on Gambians to respect the rule of law and stop the insults that are going.
Maybe the concerned people, or maybe critics, their concern is that the way he put across that message. Of course, obviously what you said is very valid. He should not sit by and situation deteriorate up to a time, like you said, somebody killing police or security. But maybe the way he put it, he, for example, said, even if the courts should give you, grant you bail, we will go after you and get you. And then, of course, that's really cause concern. So it might be, the message may be well intended, but perhaps the way he put it have caused concern.
It was taken out of proportion. But there is nobody, since he made that statement, nobody can name anybody who has been granted bail by the courts, not the police. I'm not saying the police.
Yeah.
You cannot name anybody who has been granted bail by the courts and then they go and the person is grabbed. No, but the police, if you are given, if Saihou Mballow is granted bail by the police, there are conditions of that bail. Any bail goes with conditions that you should not pass West Coast. In certain, I'm just giving you an example. Like in the United States, they would tell you that don't go beyond the New York State. We are not allowed. If you go there, we will presume that you are trying to escape, run away, or do something. Or you should not be found holding a knife. Or you should not be insulting. Or you should not go. You should not be seen with moving with underage girls. If the person is a suspect of rape, there must be conditions attached to bails. And if the police, in any circumstances that they see you, that they suspect you are violating that condition, they have the right to call you back and revoke that bail again until you accept that what you have done, the conditions, you will not do it again. You will maintain that. That's what happened here.
Yeah, but it may not happen. But the fact that he said it, that's what concerns critics and rights people. That he said it. Couldn't it have been said in another way? In any way,
yes.
Statement had come to say, okay, you know,
we have said it, and he has said it. He has said it. He respects the rule of law. President Adam Barrow will not go and violate the court orders. We have seen circumstances here when he appointed somebody, a person of Yakumba Jaite. What is more powerful than that? If his president who has the power, he appointed somebody. It went to court. The court said, President, now you don't have the power to remove this person. Did he use force? He allowed it. Okay. He allowed it. All right. So why should he allow somebody, a court, a magistrate court, or a judge of a Supreme Court giving bail to somebody? Do we expect President Adam Barrow will go? Listen, it doesn't sound sensible for somebody to think that President Adam Barrow will violate the rule of law.
Well, the people...
But when you are standing on a platform, might be the way you say things and the way it is transformed, like I said, it's always different.
That's right. So
that's what happened here.
So that's what happened.
Yes.
He was on the political platform.
Yes.
He said things that probably he didn't mean, but the way he said it has caused concern. For example, the human rights said if he's talking as president, you know, in this manner, this can be easily interpreted to mean policy. Somebody somewhere in authority can act because the president had said it. So they are saying that the way the president said it is what caused the concern. He may not mean it, obviously, but you know, these kind of statements were said by Jammeh. He said, I will be here for 1 billion years. If Barrow has not come, listen, if Barrow had insurently come in 2016, probably Jammeh's wishes would have been here. And Jammeh would say, I will send you to my hotel. And people have been sent there. I will take you 6 feet deep People have been sent to the grave anyway, no matter how deep it is.
I know.
So when they hear the president saying this too, you would argue that it makes sense for them to speak out and say, Mr. President, you are sounding very tough now. Perhaps you should go down a bit.
Yes. Mr. Cham, that's why I said this is the beauty of democracy. You remember when President Adama Barrow made the council, Banjul elders, he made a statement. It was also miscalculated when he said, I am going. You remember?
No, he didn't say it was good. What he said was...
Yes. He said,
look, there have been presidents.
Exactly.
There was Jawara, he's gone. There was Jammeh, with all his mighty, some people believe he had devils and angels, but he had gone.
Yes.
One day, I will go.
Yes.
And in fact,
I have started, I'm going to work for charity. My foundation is, I've even found office for it, it's been built. Yes.
And there are people I've already recruited who are going to work there. That was taken to be somebody
that he
about to go.
He is finished. He's about to go. Yeah. It went viral. That President Adama Barrow said he's not.
Because that's okay. Some people read from there. If somebody who is thinking of contesting in 2026, it's too soon for you to talk about. Too soon for you to talk about.
Mr. There is nothing soon in this. Presidents are human beings.
Yeah, but
can they discuss what their future plans are? What I want to do, I want to work on a humanitarian. I want to build my.
But for somebody who is thinking of contesting in 2026. And it's too soon for you to talk about that I've already recruited my staff.
No, I have started identifying. He said I have started identifying. And some people think that out of proposal. President Adama Barrow, he said he's done. He's going.
Yes.
This is the beauty. Like I said, the whole thing is we are happy that we have democracy.
Yes.
And also, the people who pursue themselves, who perceive themselves as human rights activists and critics. I think
Jawo is a human rights.
He's part of that. I don't have an encounter with him at the King FM.
Jawo, you are listening to him. What was your concern?
Jawo made a statement at the King FM that the statement that President Adama Barrow made, it seems he is sliding into dictatorship.
Wow.
And then I immediately, when I heard it, I called the King FM journalist.
Yes.
I intervened.
Yeah.
I said, there is nothing. It's far different from President Barrow sliding into dictatorship. I said, this statement is a message. He's trying to send a message that Gambians, we are the same people.
Yeah.
We are Gambians.
Yes.
We live in harmony. Let's stop the insult. Let's stop inciting violence in our country. That's what he meant. That meant by that. So I made that statement.
Jawo, you had
and then to my surprise, let me learn. My surprise, Jawo has been here. He has had other political stakeholders making statement that they would make this country ungovernable. I have never heard Jawo making a comment condemning that. I've never heard it.
Jawo, you ignored that, sir.
He ignored it. He has had other political people who are holding position in political parties. He has seen that on their Facebook pages, writing that let's kill the police officer, let's kill the police intervention unit. I have never heard Jawo comment about it. But when the moment Saihou Mballow or President Adama Barrow made a statement,
Jawo
they will jump on my head.
Jawo went to Facebook.
I agree with Mr. Mballow that as the President of the Republic, President Barrow has a big responsibility for the safety, for the security of this country. Absolutely, no doubt about that. And he, as also a party leader, he has the right to respond to other party leaders who are criticizing him personally. But as you said, Mr. Cham, I think it's the place and delivery, the way he has delivered the message that matters. Because he's a party leader, but he's above all, he's the President of the Republic. Whatever he says has some connotation with the policies of this country. And if he says something that I will do this or I will do that, definitely the people listening to him are seeing the president talking, not as the head of the NPP. And also the place that he's going, he's delivering the speech also is important. Like I always quote because I was in Senegal, I've seen what has been happening there. Macky Sall, President Macky Sall, whenever he's making a purely political statement or he's organizing a political rally for his party, he never go to the RTS to get the RTS to be getting it. He goes to a private television station, and that's where it comes out. And that's what we expect President Barrow to do as well, because the GRTS belongs to all Gambians. But if he uses the platform of the GRTS, castigating some, opposition people and others, maybe media houses and others, and those people are not given the opportunity to go and respond on GRTS. I think that is very unfair. He should be considering all that. As President of the Republic, he has responsibility for the security and safety of this country. But the way also he talks, is extremely important because it has the tendency of being, interpreted by others. He is a powerful person. He's got the army, the security, and everybody behind him. And if he were to tell them that this is what you are supposed to do, or this is what I will do, they will take it as part of the policies of the government, and they can take action. And that could be very dangerous. I think it's the delivery of the message that matters here. Yeah.
Well, he may have all the good intentions, Mr. Mballow, but people are concerned that the way he expressed them, that makes people anxious. Especially, there have been a history of that. Jammeh has spoken on the platform, threatening people, and then some people got killed, some got imprisoned, some got trumped-up charges, some had to flee the country, So if they see the president talking along those lines, even though, I have always said this, Mr. Barrow's strength is his very nature. He's such a person that if you live through Jammeh's 22 years, 30 minutes of Barrow, you know the difference. You begin to compare a devil and an angel straight away. 30 minutes of Barrow, because people tend to compare what was here 22 years and what this man represents now. Even before arguing, you know that these people are different. So his strength is the tolerance. His strength is the tolerance. Even before argument, people are continually liking him like a magnet because they simply compare what was here now. So his strength is the tolerance. So the longer he stays tolerant, the more it works for him. Yes. But then, of course, as a human, we know you can lose your cool here and there. That is human. But again, I think these concerns are meant to get him to really understand that, look, you see, I may be angry, I may be human, but I cannot say this. No, I cannot say this. No, I cannot say this. So it helps to make him a better person. You know what I mean?
Mr. Cham, I agree with that. You see, Mr. Barrow, even some of his supporters, sometimes they get so much frustrated. If you listen to the social media, you will hear somebody would say, now I'm going to be silent. I'm not going to support President Arab. Our own supporters, he's too soft. People are insulting Barrow, and he is telling people to call the police, don't leave them to go. They are going free. People are doing what they want. He said, and also civil service. We hear all the time. Even myself, my family, they criticize us. That you people say, Mballow, you are not helping Barrow. You are the advisors. People are behaving anyhow they like in this country. You are not helping Barrow. You are not telling him anything. He said, a good example is when President Arab Barrow got up and came and inspected the Combo Costa Road here. And he said he was disappointed. Some of my family members, attacked me. That now the president, with all his job, he has advisors. You people cannot be going to places. You cannot go and do the job for him, inspect and see what is going on. You go and report. He has to get up from the State House, go and look at the contract, the projects that are ongoing. You people are too lenient. You are not doing. Look at the electricity. They bombard us with everything, Mr. Cham, and the president. He's not doing anything. He's too lenient. People do what they want. Even Jawara is more aggressive than Barrow. Barrow, you can do anything and he will leave you. That's the nature of the person. He's not violent.
Anyway,
he doesn't want anybody to cry.
Kex, what do you make of it?
Now, before Kex, I think we have asked to do, we expect him to do is to call all the opposition leaders and discuss with them. If the people, the different supporters of different political parties, see the different political parties, President Barrow and the opposition leaders sitting down on one table, around one table, and then discussing and exchanging jokes and other things among themselves, that is definitely going to help in the cooling down the temperature. But as long as he would take one platform there, castigating the opposition will be other side castigating him.
Absolutely.
That's not going to help. Absolutely. I think the best way is that let them come together, sit down and discuss this. And he's
They've
the
all
only one.
agreed to a
He's the only one who
breakfast,
can initiate that.
yeah,
definitely.
Kex, what do you make of the hula baloo that greeted Barrow's provincial statement last time?
Yeah, like we all said before, before they come with any rejoinder.
Yes.
We all see it. As the ugly face of Jammeh is trying to come into the political space where a president will just stand on a platform and give such type of pronunciation, because there are, like you said, we have seen examples where decisions were made by the president and it was executed during political rallies where he will give an order and say that this thing will happen at the end of the day. It happens. Look at the even there are some laws that were passed. They were just said in a political rally that okay, this will be a law, and at the end of the day it went to parliament and it was approved. So sometimes the president is not an ordinary person. This is the president of the Republic of the Gambia. But after seeing the rejoinder from them, then like you said, I see that the intention was very good. The manner and the way the message was conveyed was actually the problem, and I think with the criticism that you have seen, the statement from the Human Rights Commission and other things, it's a learning process. I'm sure he's a very good listener, absolutely no doubt about that. We will give that credit to him. President Barrow is somebody who do listens too much, and I'm sure that he will pick up these things and see it as an error, in the way of communication. Maybe he was because of the political difference with Orab, so he was lose his cool.
He lost his cool.
Cool, and say it in a way. But at the end of the day, when we read the press, because for me, I go through the whole entire document and I read and I understand that actually the intention was to maintain peace and order in this country, whereby both parties will respect each other irrespective of our political difference. But let's have that sense of Gambianism, whereby an elderly person, a young person will respect an elderly person, and a leader will be respected. This is what we are known for, the culture of respecting each other, that we can have our divergent views, we can agree and disagree, but at the end of the day, we must be we must do it in a very civilized and a democratic way, that I can express my opinion without insulting as Mr. Mballow. Mr. Mballow too can respond to me without actually saying me anything that will be seen as caricaturing me or something like. So these are some of the issues that I think he was trying to address, but the way he said was very unfortunate, and I think it will be a learning process. And Mr. Mballow has an advisor on political issues, also heard what the criticisms said, and I'm sure he have picked some of these things that when he sit with the president one-on-one, he will not say it here. I will say that okay, it was very unfortunate, this is what happens, but I think moving forward we will do A and B and C before we do certain things. And this is how we build the nation, in terms of sitting down, have such type of discussion. We learn from each other and pick up things, and I'm sure Mr. Jawo have given a very good advice here that Mr. Mballow too will pick it, and when he sit with the president, he will, and this is how we will build a country. At the end of the day, all of us, whether we are oppositions or what, our interest is to have a Gambia that all of us can be proud of.
What we should realize, people don't know, when they talk about Gambia, they don't know opposition, they just talk about Gambia. So what we behave reflects on us.
Absolutely.
People don't know who is president, who is opposition.
Absolutely.
They talk about Gambia.
Yeah, absolutely.
So they talk about things that affect all of us.
Absolutely.
Finally, there have been a lot of actions, if you like, in terms of corruption, both at the local government and the central government level. We had 3 senior civil servants, senior government officials, have been charged with corruption. We had dramatic news about allegations of corruption in Brikama area council. Bassa area council, just now they also had to dismiss, and even Carnifing, they had to dismiss staff or suspend them for alleged corruption. There seem to be now action rather than rhetoric. Mr. Mballow,
yes.
I mean, let's start with the 3 senior government officials. The government states there in the statement that is very much committed, to act when it comes to corruption.
Well, I mean, Mr. Cham, I think what is happening right now is a clear manifestation of President Barrow standing to eradicate. Not completely eradicate. You cannot eradicate corruption. No country can eradicate completely corruption. You can fight it. But what is happening here demonstrates that the MPP government is out to fight corruption. We started it with Banja. You remember Banja's
case?
It
was permanent secretary.
When the journalist went there and then interviewed him and they exposed his attempt of corruption. He was incarcerated, And these cases, government Barrow is has always been patient. But he said, when you bring something, you have to bring proof, evidence.
Okay.
You need evidence. This Ministry of Health COVID-19 funds issue has been going on. The investigation has been dragging. It has been going on until recently, when they came up and with the charges. Now the charges are there. Let's also bear in mind, charging somebody does not qualify somebody to be guilty. That also is very important.
Absolutely.
Charging Mr. Mballow of corruption does not mean that Mr. Mballow, until proven guilty before a court of law. These people they are charged. But let's give them the benefit of the doubt. They are going to court. The government, the prosecutors will bring their proof. If they are proven guilty before the courts, obviously, whatever the law dictate is going to happen to them. Like what is happening at the Brikama, Area Council, Basse Area Council. Not only that, look at KMC at the commission. I know listening to the commission at the Brikama. Let's listen to what the recommendation that they are going to give. We will take it very seriously. Whatever recommendation that commission gives at the KMC and other elsewhere, other councils, we will implement it, we will respect it. Because it's not here, we are not here to play hanky-panky or any favor. We are going to make sure that we implement it. We have seen what happened here during other commissions.
That's very good. Yeah, there seem to be, Jawo, a lot of, from this Ministry of Health right down to the councils. Brikama, like you said, dramatically we hear, even when the Commission of Inquiry is investigating allegations of malpractice, some people allegedly are continuing the practice. In Kemeseng, the ballot people, revenue collectors have also been suspended just yesterday or a few days ago. So, does this in any way think that there's now practical moves to fight corruption?
Well, of course, the very fact that action is being taken on certain people who have been accused of corruption is very positive. I mean, this is exactly what we expected the government to do all along, because we've been hearing stories of, corrupt practices in various, sections of the government, but hardly anything was ever done. Whatever was done sometimes was kind of not very comprehensive enough. For example, we've seen what happened at the Gam Petroleum, and when some senior officers were accused of,
the government couldn't prove a case.
Well, exactly. I mean, millions. Those millions are still. I mean, nobody knows what has happened to those millions. Those people who were accused have been freed by the courts. But I mean, government still has not done much to show people that they are willing to follow those millions that have been, alleged to have been, defrauded in that place. And it has happened in other places as well. We've heard about, the secure report issue. We've heard about other areas of the government. Okay, not much effort has, been seen to be done. But, the very fact that now we've seen about these senior government officials, not the COVID funds per se, but I think this is the global fund.
Yeah, the global fund.
Yeah, right. The global fund amount, that was concerned. But, maybe we can also commend the FPAC of the National Assembly as well, because this has never happened, particularly during the Jammeh era. The National Assembly would never, perform their oversight functions. In this way, where they would actually call, to order some people who have been accused of corruption or other thing. I think, we need to definitely commend the FPAC of the National Assembly and others who are actually, and the government also should be commended for taking these steps, so that at least people are convinced now that the government is serious about fighting corruption. But they definitely need to do more.
Kems, finally.
Yeah.
Over the last corruption allegations and the fight.
Yeah, actually, when I see that, I make a post, and the heading was "The wing of fighting corruption is finally blowing in the Gambia." Absolutely. And like Mr. Mballow said, I think government has now the will, because this is the second time. Maybe he only mentioned that of the recent one about the the health official, but there was some social security staff that the Ministry of Justice dragged them to court, for involving in fraud, defrauding people from their lands, or even pension monies of some of the people that were actually.
That was another case.
Families go out. Almost there are 6 or 7 of them are dragged to court, and that was initiated by the Ministry of Justice, that they were dragged at court. That shows you that government is definitely showing that they have zero tolerance when it comes to corruption. And we have seen the same trend has come into the global phone issue. And the last time I was talking to one of Mr. Kimbenta, I think is the Kimbenta, yes, we had a discussion at his office, and he was telling me that there are similar, you guys will be there are similars of these cases that are coming, and that are senior government officials that we are ready to drag them to court, for mismanagement of public funds. And when I heard that, I was actually happy, because while we could not develop, when we look at the amount of money that are going into individual pockets rather than government coffers is much, and the commission is revealing so much of those things. And seeing the Brikama Area Council actually coming with this bold step, shows me that actually the new administration of the Brikama Area Council too is ready to fight corruption, because mismanagement of public fund has far too long been in our council, where money goes into individual pocket rather than the council's cover. And once we are able to tackle that issue, we will see the development of our councils, whereby they can contribute their quota in terms of the nation building, because this is why you have the central government and you have the local government, and this too has to work in terms of the development and agenda of the country, where the other parts will play their parts, and this other party, then we will have a country that we can develop. And the same trend is going into the Bashe Area Council, and we have seen the KMC. So it looks like the wing has started blowing, and if we continue with this trend, actually you will find out that actually this thing. But what impressed me most is that the government and even the Brikama Area Councils were very professional in a way that they just assume them they are accused person, and they want to use the due process of the law, not to see it as a witch hunt, rather than. But they said, okay, we suspected that these people have committed this crime, and based on that, we are suspending them pending the determination of the case at the court, where it's a competent jurisdiction. That's commendable, because in other regimes, maybe he will just take you. And but government shows that I want to follow the due process.
Exactly.
Council also the same said that you can be suspended for now, and your salaries will be whole, but when things goes and we found out that actually you have not committed the crime, we will pay you whatever happens in your absence, and you continue your service. But if you are found wanting to, we want the law to take its course, and that's democracy. For me, I commend both the government and the council for taking that democratic steps, and hopefully we will definitely fight corruption.
At that point, I am changing colors because the next part of the brunch is about football. So we're going to have another panel where we will discuss the Gambia's draw in the Africa Cup of Nations coming in Ivory Coast in February. In January, February, the Gambia has been drawn against Senegal, Guinea, and Cameroon. That will be the next panel after this. But gentlemen, Demba Ali Jawo, who is now the chairman of the Victims Center, Gambia Center for Victims, and journalist, veteran, thank you very much for your thoughts on today's program. Kex, I cannot thank you very much for keeping an eye on everything Gambian, whether it is in the courts or it is in the public domain, in politics, in the parliament. You have made it your business to bring Gambians up to speed with developments. Thank you very much for your insights.
Thank you.
The Honorable Saihou Mballow, Presidential Advisor on Politics, thank you very much for being available and always making himself available whenever we call him. You have that, I'll give you that personal and, compliments.
Thank you
for making yourself available anytime you are getting. This is the brunch. We'll have all these gentlemen back, but like I said, in a couple of minutes, we will talk football.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Agada.
Okay, mbijan raganyadi.
Albaka.
Mbaka important.
Yo, nga transfer la sto.
Ya transfer la sto.
Ha, code nyinji.
Okay. Nsila ID soto.
Sa soto. Sorry. Agada.
Mbijan bro.
Albaka.
Mbaka.
Bara alla service o tariaka.
Mbale.
Mo ki janna nun kunu bara tariaka.
Jannom yona forest de bureau. Gambia tonkon na no mbali ya bere. Birin koyna fo katon.
Bari si kodo kino katon ni fo bolong blabe.
56 branches mola soto Gambia jam. Gambia kono anin Gambia bantala bankol. Nko kodo kiya bere. Kodo sifa fo falindiro fo nyaadi lafta memmen na kodi to poto nin kodi maraw. Jannom number 1 di nyonta. Andum fana nata anoda enterprise sotale. Wolam nyindi ko domorol fana kol fana be firale de dadi man domorol dir fana beteat. Gambia dawda yalo ngam fa kendol sotale je.
Wo moy wadiat.
Apelenta
ni
barka
ni lafta nyelen kendol e binaji.
Yalo bu kanyi la ko la barka ba.
Yalo ndel ciosano lo.
Barka.
Remind him that the last time he sent the money, it was not enough to buy all the provisions.
Oh, sorry, I forgot to tell him.
Are you guys talking about money transfer to buy provisions?
Yes.
But don't you know about Baluwo?
Baluwo? What is Baluwo?
Baluwo is a service that your son can use to send provisions directly to you guys from the shop. And you don't have to worry about the exchange rate.
Tell me how Baluwo works.
It's very simple.
Just log on to baluwo.com and shop, or download the app on your phone. You can shop on the website or using the app to buy online basic products for your family and friends. With Baluwo, you decide what your money is spent on. Your money, your choice. Buy online products for your family and friends in the Gambia, Senegal, Nigeria or Mali. Baluwo, better than sending money.
For the first time in the history of the Gambia, Gambia Printing Publishing Corporation proudly introduces the Biliomatic exercise book printing machine. The machine has the capacity to print more than 20,000 books per hour. Yes, 20,000 books per hour. It also prints magazines, newspapers, calendars, flyers, normal books and all kinds of printed documents plus items at affordable prices. With the Biliomatic printing machine, GPPC can now render high quality and non-size restricted printing service supply across the sub-region. Rush now and partner with GPPC for all your public and private printing service needs. Print with us today and you'd be offered highly professional, reliable and efficient service delivery by our team of experts. The Gambia Printing and Publishing Corporation is here to meet all demands and is reliable at all times. For more info, contact us on 437-4493 or 437-4402. GPPC is Gambian and it's yours.
Gambia Social Registry Household Data Collection Exercise. The government of the Gambia, with support from World Bank, is developing a social registry as part of its move towards an integrated social protection system in the country. Gambia Social Registry will serve as a single entry point for the various social protection programs in the Gambia and will be hosted by the National Social Protection Secretariat at the Office of the Vice President. The social registry shall comprise households' demographic and socio-economic data. This information will guide future social protection program interventions.
Back to the brunch on Kerfatu Live. As promised, we're not talking sports and football in particular. Now, the Gambia has been drawn alongside neighbors Senegal and Guinea and Cameroon in the Africa Cup of Nations that's taken place in January and February in the Ivory Coast. Well, the Gambia has not played Senegal for quite a long time, and the two nations have a bitter rivalry between them when it comes to football. Senegal always had the upper hand, of course, whenever the two meet. The last time I remembered, I got myself personally involved. It was a big uproar when the two sides met in Dakar in the return leg of the Africa Cup of Nations qualifiers for 2004, which took place in Tunisia. This time though, the two will open the match in January, I think January the 13th and the 15th. The draw has really attracted a lot of attention from both Gambia and Senegal. Senegal professional player and the leading light, of course, in Senegalese football, Mr. Saihou Mballow has spoken about it. He said, well, I have relatives in Guinea and I'm half Gambian. So this draw has really put me in a funny position. But that's football language off the pitch. We will see what will happen on the pitch. So I'm here in the studio with Musa Cisse. He is the president of the Sports Journalists Association of the Gambia and a former member of the, I hope now defunct, National Coordination Committee, which coordinated our last appearance in the Africa Cup of Nations in Cameroon. Baboucar Kamara is the Director of Communications at the Gambia Football Federation. He is with me. We were expecting, of course, Technical Director Sangdong, and
he came on.
Yeah, well, they said he was here. Unfortunately, we didn't get his attention. However, gentlemen, welcome to the brunch.
Thank you, Chan. Thank you for having us. Thank you for this, very, very crucial talking point in terms of qualification and back-to-back to an AFCON, which I really think that is going to generate a lot of interest and a lot of talking points as we wish to make even a more indelible mark in the African football history this time around.
Let me ask, what has been your reaction when you have Senegal? When Senegal's name appeared in the draw to be in Group C, where we were already based with Guinea and Cameroon.
Honestly, Thursday morning, I was sitting with some prominent government officials in Banjul, and we're talking about Musa, tonight's draw. I said yes. Said I think we're going to get Senegal. You know, in all honesty, I said it shouldn't be a problem if we get them, because it's football and you eventually have to meet along the way if you're going to progress in tournaments like this. And we'll be tired, what do I know? And I sat in my house watching the draw, and after the draw, the gentleman just reached out on the phone. Musa, I told you. I said yes, but I'm not surprised, because these are teams that you will have to play. Because of the groupings and whatever. Because at that level, I think there was Burkina Faso and another team that I thought we might be having. Mm-hmm. So when Senegal popped up, it wasn't a surprise to me. And with whatever is it that members of the Republic are talking about, Gambia and Senegal, I want to put on, if possible, a fans cap to talk about it, and then probably a journalistic or a seer observer status to talk about the match in between. But I don't want to take that fans position in talking about the game in between.
Well, personally, I think why it is very good and very exciting, I think frankly it's a group that's going to be very difficult for the Gambia. I am not in any way demeaning or marginalizing the capacity of the Gambia. Of course, our boys are ready. We are technically, we always have an answer to challenges, even though there have been misgivings on some quarters that we could have done it better. And I'm sure that our boys are very much gingered and emboldened this time, having gone to the Africa Cup of Nations and come out quarter finalists. That is a starting point from which I think the boys have drawn enough inspiration to be motivated to go and face these lions, whether they are indomitable or they are teranga. So I'm hopeful that the boys will do their best, but I still remain that with the realization that it's a very, very, very tough challenge ahead.
There is no
Baboucar,
single, sorry.
I cross over to Baboucar from the GFF. Baboucar, put us through, how have been the reaction from the football house?
Well, I think the first reaction we got was from the coach, who described it as a group of death, a group of death. Yeah. And I think, with all honesty, it is a group of death. Yeah. Equally, personally, man, I didn't want to meet Senegal this early in the tournament, but somebody was telling me that we'll definitely pull Senegal this time around. I was there with my brother when we were watching the draw home. I said, I see us beating Senegal. He said, but that's going to be tough. I said, yes, it's going to be tough. But equally, it's not bad for us to test our mettle against them. You know, even before the draw, most Gambians were calling for us to play against Senegal. Everybody wanted this. The last time Gambia and Senegal played in any game at A-team level was all the way back in 2008 of October, 11th of October 2008. That was the last time Gambia played against Senegal. It's been like, what, 15 years now? More than a decade and a half.
In Dakar.
So it's also a high time that Gambia play against Senegal. In as much as we've never defeated them in at a senior level, we have to also point out that Senegal has not equally defeated the Gambia for 20 years. The last time they defeated was in 2003. You know, the 3-1 score.
Yeah,
so history will be made, and I think they are the team also. With all fairness, they are the team to beat in the group. The indomitable Lions will always be there, but they are no longer the force that they used to be.
But Senegal is the champion.
Senegal is the defending champions, and I think Cameroon qualified to the semi-finals of the last AFCONs. They were also aided by the fact that they were the host, even though they defeated us. But I think, with a proper tactic, we could have even defeated them. We saw how they played against Djibouti. They were conceding and scoring as well. So they are no longer the force that they used to be, and equally they are the last team also to qualify for this AFCON.
And for Guinea, we have a winning history.
I know Guinea is still angry. They are still bitter because they underrated us. We defeated them. But come on, that shouldn't be a surprise to anyone. The two of you are senior colleagues. You've been following Gambian football for so long. You know the history between Gambia and Guinea.
Absolutely.
I think the last time, some 20 years, almost 20 years ago, we played against them. They came here, not necessarily 20, but almost 20 years ago. They came here.
2007.
Exactly. No, in fact, 2006, they came here.
Yeah.
They beat us 2-0. You remember that was the mistake committed by Saihou Mballow, and then Gambians almost came alive. But when we went there with the Spanish coach, Jose Martinez, they were leading us 3-0. In the second half, we came and equalized. 2-2. It ended.
That was,
So, and I think Guinea is beatable. All we need to do, I'm not a tactician, but the tacticians, I think, the target would be to get a draw against the two Lions and go for the win against Guinea.
Easier said than done.
It is, of course.
I should have mentioned Ismail Njai from the finance department.
He's the finance manager, actually.
The finance manager, actually, of the Gambia Football Federation. Because when you talk about this, we talk about logistical arrangements. And top on that logistical arrangements, of course, is money. The last time, of course, our participation was approached in a multi-sectional, sectorial level. A national coordinating committee was established, and they started a fundraising. Eventually, of course, the government has to cough of $90 million to actually fund this. And then people start saying, okay, how is this money spent, and etc., etc. So if you are going to enlighten us now as to what the financial preparations would be, for example, people would like to know how much do you pay for players, what is the policy of bonus and, allowances and stuff like that. It is you who should, it is to you that those questions are directed. So how are we financially, logistically ready?
In the first place, good afternoon to all viewers and colleagues. Before coming down to your questions, I know we're looking at the draw, but equally, when we also look at from the draw, we also have to look at the investment made over the period to be in the first AFCON, which actually, if you look at the preparation of the AFCON started 2016 to 2022, when finally we were done there. I am happy. Our able marketing chairman is on the panel. So actually, if you look at we were saying, we are comparing when we used to play the days of Saihou Mballow and others, the results we do have against Senegal. But actually, let's also compare what was the investment at that point in time and compare to today.
Yeah, good point.
Yes, that's one point. And the other point is the number of players we have playing out of the Gambian league outside, who are also there making names like any other Senegalese. If you look at 2016, from the covers of the GFF to ensure we were in the last AFCON, from that cover alone was $104 million That is what we actually get both from FIFA and CAF. But in terms of expenditure, we will look at the effect of the investment by the GFF alone, which went to $205 million.
You mean from 2016 to
2022.
2022, you received 104
million. We end up spending $205 million.
Wow, that's a shortfall of 96 million.
And that's the GFF alone.
Yes,
that's from
so
GFF
meaning,
alone.
yes,
Not talk about the government.
Not talk about government.
Where did this money go to? Where did it go to?
This actually goes to if you follow the game, you will have what we call the travel of local teams when they are training within the Gambia. At that point in time, and airfares for the A team itself, and the match officials, which we have to cater for their cost to be here, and also even the local coaches that we used to engage at that point in time, because we didn't have the financial muscle to give them that full-time appointment. So we strategized to ensure they are based on seasonal appointment, because engagement. And equally the logistic, and now the main consumption area, which was the camping of the A team alone, I mean, took the A team camping expenses for $30.62 million. And equally, the March bonus as at that period was $88.19 million, out of which the 73 million alone went to the A team for the match bonus regarding the AFCON qualifiers and the AFCON matches. So eventually that will left GFF accumulatively with the loans we are taking from the bank to 2022, leaving us a deficit of $68 million to be foot by the GFF. You know,
wow. And then people were wondering what happened to the contribution of the Gambia government.
Actually, in the Gambia government from that period to 2022, from our own books, because we have a separate bank account for them where the funds are actually remitted to, and when they are disposed, then the returns are made.
How much did they give
to National Sports Council?
This period on the review?
And during the period on the review, Gambia government will receive $29.88 million. The highest was the 14. That was 29.88 million, which we received from our accounts, because some of the funds they were not spending from our area, so we cannot account for those ones. We can only account for those that are directly paid to our accounts and put in by review by our auditors, our finance committees.
So it looks like when you talk to the government, they will say they've spent over 100 million.
Of course, I mean, even the AFCON alone, Chang, as you rightly mentioned, the government of the Gambia spent 90 million, which was not directly paid to the GFF.
Oh, so that's the point.
That's the point he's trying to make, because it's only now that the government is paying directly to the GFF to administer the disbursement of the funds. There was a point in time they were the ones that were disbursing the funds directly
for themselves.
You understand? And then the 90 million for the AFCON is not even part of that. So it has to be commended that the government also, I mean, is doing it best. But then football is very, very expensive, because even the last AFCON alone, now in terms of match bonuses, after our participation in the AFCON, the GFF had to go and take a bank loan of 35 million to pay match bonus to the players. Because when they secured the win against Guinea, that particular match bonus was paid by the Gambia Football Federation. But you know, before the game, the minister made a pledge that if they qualify, they will get $10,000, and that $10,000 was different from the actual match bonus
that was already in place.
And the match bonus, I think, was about 8,600 euro if they qualify to the quarterfinals. So both
the minister's pledge and that one.
I mean, they were paid by the GFF. So I mean, and that has definitely.
The minister made the pledge. Government should have paid that.
Well, I mean, it was passed on to us.
You should go after the president. Go after the minister.
On a serious note, Champ. On a serious note, of course, these are things that we have to take seriously, because it's not a joke that these pledges were made to motivate the players to make sure that we go to the next level. And whilst that's attained, it was the wish wishes and hopes of everyone who was there in that room, in that place, to make sure that that's achieved. And that was achieved. So the problem was now how to get that money.
How to fulfill the promise.
Yes, but the other thing that also came about in that is that, I mean, I think in hindsight, we're all the most brilliant of geniuses when it comes to, you know, I mean, these things. In hindsight, you look back and say, yeah, we wanted to take that, I mean, that, how to call it, I mean, the prize money at that level to pay the players, which wasn't meant for it. That's different completely, because you're not surprised that people are asking where's the, even government is asking about where is the money, the prize money that, I mean, CAF gave to
Gambia for finishing
the Gambia Football Federation. I think that's a different ball game completely. That is not something that is supposed to be even mentioned or talked about.
We're talking now about the minister made a pledge that $10,000.
Which was fulfilled, yes.
Yeah, but he's trying to say that that was done by the GFF. I'm asking
by the ministry. By the ministry.
The ministry or the GFF paid?
Well, the GFF ended up paying it.
Ended up paying it?
The finance manager, yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
He administered the disbursement of those funds.
So the GFF ended up paying those two plus the one they had on the policy, $8,000.
Yes, Mr. Cham.
So $18,000 each player got from the Guinea match. And all that's borne by the GFF.
Actually, Mr. Cham, to be honest, these are one of the major constraints the GFF goes through. Because now, if you look at an overall advance accumulatively in terms of our outstanding facility of $65 million, and so we're able to cope the expenditures of the national team. And you can see from year one, from 2016 to 2022, our deficit was increasing on a yearly basis, because people, we have to understand one thing. Yes, people argue FIFA gave money to the GFF, but when does that money start coming? And how much is involved in real sense? And what is the percentage effect of what they are giving to us in terms of our national team? The FIFA money, which is the travel solidarity, start coming into GFF 2018. If you look at our audited and statistic, in 2016, we only received $500,000 from the government. In 2017, there was nothing. And then in that 2016-2017, we did not have anything like travel support of FIFA, because the travel support actually started coming in 2018. And the other aspect is now, whether we like it or not, we as a nation has to face the reality. Performance goes with cost, because last time you used to pay them 3,000 euros, 2,000 euros during the qualifiers, for example. And when they went to AFCON, that was a little bit increased. And now the tariff that they proposed, which when we put all these things together, I'm so worried. Where are we going to get money? Because if our tariff was $3,000, now you are looking at $5,000, $10,000 for match bonus per stage. How are we going to raise that?
And to add, you see, Cam, I want to elaborate on that. But before even that, at some stage, we have to go all the way back to 2014, up to when Hadram Sidibe was appointed as the Minister of Youth and Sport in somewhere, I think 2018.
Yeah,
the government did not spend a dime on the GFF.
Exactly.
By 2014, there was already a letter from the Ministry of Youth and Sport that the government has stopped funding national teams, and that continued into the Barrow government until 2017, when Hadrami Sidibe was appointed as minister.
And started 2018.
Yeah, that's the time that they started contributing. And now, how many? Many people think that the senior national team is only national team in. But we have 8 different national teams across the 2 genders, and each of these national teams, aside from the senior national team, where the government always contributes and JV always comes with its quota, and the partly sponsoring of the under-20s World Cup campaign in Argentina. These 7 category national teams are all sponsored by the GFF. And as Ismail rightly stated, now the FIFA travel support, which was also mentioned, that is given to every member associate, it's a one-off payment of $200,000. It was only this January that it was increased to $250,000, and it is for the whole year. Now take the highest exchange rate. $250,000 is $15 million. $15 million is not even enough. $15 million is not even enough for a senior national team to come, because the national team, have their own bonus structure. Like when they go to camp, they are paid a camping allowance of each player is paid €2,000. And after every win, they are paid €2,000. That's 4,000. If that is 4,000, if you are playing only one match, but if you play 2 matches and you win both matches, you pay each player €6,000. So you understand. So, and then now 15 million is not even enough that we receive from FIFA for the whole year. What happens to our other category national team? Just recently, the senior women national team were playing against Namibia. The under 20 always plays in the WAFU, and the other national teams, the U23, not long ago also played against Burkina Faso in the Olympics qualifiers. So all these are costs incurred by the GFF, and this definitely, Cham, you would agree with me, would definitely come at the expense of football development. You understand? Because you cannot afford your national teams cannot afford not to be participating, because there are certain number of games in the first place. If you don't play that, you're not getting a dime from FIFA.
I understand.
You understand? 1, 2. Come on, Cham, I don't know where to hide if the Gambia senior national team is not participating in competition. I don't know where to hide from Gambians. But so it is very, 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 very difficult.
Yeah.
You want to say something?
Yes, I want to say something. I think it's important, us and the Gambians, to understand that the FIFA way of support is to encourage the development of football through the participation of national teams. So whatever FIFA was supporting is mainly for the development of football at the grassroots level, those technical programs here and there. Now, if we are in 2022, if we have a facility loan of 65 million, just to ensure we are able to cope with the variance difference from 2016 to 2022, meaning now take 65 million from our total operational cost. Our total operational cost is $1 million. You multiply by the highest IP, that is what? $60 million. So automatically, because of your now diverting your funds to ensure the national team's demand are met, automatically, I mean, you are left with nothing. You are already left with only
other areas will suffer.
Exactly. So and this of the money, there's money for national team. Yes, that is what is not for the national team A. We have 8 categories, and if these 8 categories by regulation, we should have only spent $1.8 per national team. Can 1.8 million?
Which is not even enough for one round of qualifiers.
Exactly.
It's an expense.
And Cham, to add on to that, you have to understand that all these national teams have a full technical staff. And this technical staff are employed by the GFF and paid by the GFF. And the head coach, Tom Samfeet, who has been appointed since 2018 to today, the Gambia Football Federation continues to pay his salary. From 2018 to today, since his first paycheck he received, the Gambia Football Federation.
So the government has not been paying the coach?
No, they've never paid for the coach's salary.
So what the government does, let's make it clear, is they come to help the national team by providing, or in the past, you said, until recently, they control the money and manage it themselves.
Of course.
That is paying for tickets or bonuses or allowances for the players.
But that has changed now.
That has changed.
Yeah. But okay, I don't want this to turn out as if we are here.
I understand.
To be,
I understand.
Listen. I just want to make this clear. For clarity,
people would like to know where the government's intervention is and where your own domestic or your own responsibility comes.
I'll give you a classical example. Yeah. The last qualifier against Congo, we sent a budget of $21 million. Now, and you know, some of these bonus structures also, the ministry is involved in the negotiation. You understand? They are aware of them. So,
how much was approved?
So they approved 11 million, but they paid up to today. They received 9.5, and the Gambia Football Federation spent $10.3 million in the last qualifiers alone.
So to cover the difference.
To cover the difference. The last that is September alone, And in June as well, we spent under 7.6 million for the June qualifiers too. That was played against South Sudan.
So it looks like in all these outings, you ended up paying more than the government.
Well, the last one we paid more. Before that, they paid more than us.
Cham, government has a lot of things to do.
I know. I mean, we know government has its constraints as well.
So now,
and
people will raise, why apart from government has football not been able to raise funds?
I think
because in many countries,
yes,
they don't even depend on government.
Okay,
football depend on other sources of revenue. Why is it impossible in the Gambia?
This is a very, very good question, and I'm going to give you a very personal opinion as my answer. Not to be emotional about it, but my personal opinion that I think, because you agree with me that football is a commercial venture now. You understand? I mean, we should go beyond corporate social responsibility. We have to get into commercial. I mean, commercialization of the sport. But now, I mean, since January, we appointed a commercial manager to go out there to get sponsorship for the GFF. But up to today, we don't have a single one. You understand? And some of the reasons is that because there is this belief outside that the GFF has all the money in the world and that, you know, they are mismanaging funds. So I think also the politics of it, especially on social media, the campaign that has been going is affecting football sponsorship in the country. Because look,
does it affect the reputation of the GFF?
Of course, that's what I wanted to mention. Because if you don't have the reputation that people don't see you as to be trustworthy, you think they're going to invest your money into you?
But how do you work around that for people to get?
Well, and I think, unfortunately, okay, yes, that's what we are doing now. But unfortunately, that's what we do now. But unfortunately, also, I mean, this negative image of football is being created
from
within the stakeholders.
Yeah, because they have opposition camps.
Exactly, and I think when time comes for politics, let's do the politics. But when it's over, I mean, look at El Hadji Diouf. El Hadji Diouf was one of the fiercest critics of the Senegalese Football Federation. Are they not working together for the interest of football today? What has it yielded them? A first AFCON title.
So you are suffering what the central government is suffering from unfair criticism,
unfair
criticisms and malicious castigations everywhere.
Okay, to add on what Bauer said about the issue of sponsorship, I think the GFF and the National Sports Council, we have a critical role to play here. Cham, we have to be realistic. GFF financial statements are always sent to the National Sports Council
and also uploaded on our website.
And they are also invited to AGMs of the GFF. It would be good if the GFF and the National Sports Council comes together, both the Secretariat of the National Sports Council and the GFF Secretariat comes together. We go alongside to platforms and say, hey, you know what? This is actually what we have spent, and this is what GFF has spent.
It's not what you're thinking. It's not what you're making of.
It's not what you're making of. But now, if people there are saying GFF has enough, our main counterpart, the National Sports Council, knows how much we receive because it's clearly spelled in our financial statement. We categorize, in fact, we separate the funds of the expenditure for national teams by category of the GFF funding and the government funding. And we also indicate how much we received. Like like Babgar is saying now, that is gradually being enhanced. Being enhanced now, we have to stop spending on different lines. We have to align. The Sports Council, the ministry, whatever they're able to raise for football, let it be sent to the GFF because there is a special account for government. So that we as stakeholders, including the National Sports Council and the ministry, will always have a clear view of the total expenditures that has been made in football. And maybe this also can change the mindset of the people. If not, what is happening is everybody is sitting at your corner trying to look for ownership and achievement. And that's why, you know, one of the platforms I mentioned it, I said, wherever football has issues with the Sports Council and government, I will not forgive myself. I will not forgive Marcel Mendy. I will not forgive Ibu Seka. You know why? Because three of us were the critical position holders during the normalization. So what were we doing as normalized a team? I was responsible for finance. They were responsible for administration and the logistic and the governance aspect. Why would we now separate that football now is running at its normal route, and we are not willing to see on eye-to-eye basis? Because for me, that's the way I've seen it. I would encourage both the GFF, the Sports Council, to look into the interest of our athletes.
Well, it's interesting. We were meant to do justice to the draw, but the financial aspects actually have.
It's important to talk about this because you see, I always hear Ibufai says this, and it's true. He says success brings what challenges.
Yeah,
and then you expect that the cost of this AFCON is going to be far more than the last one. So from because the players are at a position where they can bargain.
Yeah.
And you know
they've already started bargaining.
So they've already sent in their proposals.
From what we have had, how much money, well, unofficially, of course, in our opinion, you think will have to be raised?
Before we talk about, the official Ismail would be in a better position to talk about it. But because what's important is the sponsorship of national teams. You know, affluent societies, governments, countries don't talk about money because it's already there.
Yeah, I mean, people queue, businesses queue in Senegal. Businesses queue to support football or big
I don't know about Senegal.
In the Gambia, it doesn't happen.
In the Gambia, it doesn't. You have to go and knock on doors and ask people to come in. And whilst others come in, others don't even want to associate.
He said one of the reasons is the perception that GFF has a lot of money.
That's a fallacy.
But actually, that's not the case.
You know that's a fallacy. So let's not even talk about it because there's no money out there. So, and I mean, as Babakar mentioned, the politics against the GFF is too aggressive. Let's call it spade a spade. It's too aggressive negatively that it's not helpful to GFF, it's not helpful to our football. And this is bad, and it's catching up with us. At this moment in time, when success of this magnitude has caught up with GFF, we expect businesses to line up, to identify themselves with the national team who's going to carry them all over the world. The seeds have been sown in Cameroon, during the last AFCON, to see how best we can carry some of these businesses along. There are businesses who knew what the value is. There are businesses who are still yet to discover why do I have to come, why do I have to give the national team this much amount of money? And you still have it, yes. Because I think I'm very much.
Businesses often ask, what do I get back?
Yeah, but this is what I'm talking about. I mean, I would not want to think that there is a business person out there who wants to think that what do I get in return as a sponsor or a supporter of a national team. That's all over the world. But I think the marketing arm of the marketing arm of the federation, and of course, perhaps needs to also gear up to really work in return, to really be prepared. Even if they cannot, they have to allow people to do that for them, because it's in the interest of the game, it's the interest of the country, it's in the interest of the businesses, so that we can attract more people, more businesses to come forward. Restrictions have to be taken aside, but there are simple and clear rules in which we have to also adhere to make sure that businesses would come running towards the national team, so that we can take them to places, and that needs to be seen seriously.
You know, businesses will say, okay, in other countries there's a big publicity, media, fanfare surrounding football. Everything football get big attention in the media, and then the businesses are attracted to really identify themselves with it.
We haven't got that, because you know why? Even Babakar will excuse me. Even in our quest to sell our football, some people are still soiling the football. The good football we're talking about, the good results we're talking about, but that's okay. Be a fan, and you're free to support whoever or whatever you want, which is fine. But when it comes to our national team, when it comes to who and what we are as a people, as our team, I don't think that we should be divided over that.
Yeah. Okay, let's stay. Let's stay with the business. How to attract funding other than government funding, because that's where the problem is now. If the GFF could have alternative funding, I mean, government's injection of help would have only make it greater. But now, what is the role of government in this? We have had, for example, governments should, let's say, introduce tax holidays,
duty waivers,
tax exemptions, duty waivers
for businesses
who identify them with sports.
Yes.
And there was also the the sports levy, which was, which required, I think, GSM companies.
That's still on.
You have a lot of
It's still on, yes.
Where's the
Still
money
on.
coming? I mean,
Yeah, but the thing is, perhaps just the money that we're talking about, that the sports levy is still ongoing. Monthly, you're putting in something like $4 million is monthly into the government for it to be spent. But as you mentioned, I mean, when it's paid to government has so many expenses to do.
Yes.
So that is nothing. I mean, let's be honest. That is nothing to sports. It's nothing to for example, a single sport like GFF, the national team. And I mean, how many national teams or sports that the minister had to take care of? So when we talk about this, you mentioned about the sponsorship. And I think this is an area which I think we need to dilate on and specifically talk about, because there's 110 things that are possible, but there are equally 110 things that are not possible in Gambia. Because we're talking about Gambia, it's not Senegal,
it's
not
the size of our economy.
It is small one.
Yes,
we have to be honest.
The lack of capital,
and there is not that competition. The industries that you can list. A hotel partner, an insurance partner, an airline partner, a GSM partner, a water brand partner, a motor. If you have those people in, what is, for example, a travel partner going to offer you? What's a hotel partner going to offer you? What's a GSM partner going to offer you? All these are institutions that could have been seen to be identifying themselves with the national team, and they will come in handy with a respectable return in terms of the visibility and publicity they need. And this is what I'm talking about. This is where probably the GFF will need to wash her hands off. The GFF, the national team, and allow somebody to do this thing on their behalf. Completely, because if GFF is not seen to be,
they have a reputational problem.
This is us. This is all of us here. If they are seen to be not the cleanest of people, which is a fallacy, okay, you know what, Babakar, go ahead and do this thing for us. Do this for us. Perhaps you can. Let it be outsourced. Let it be outsourced completely. For example,
I see.
And then the returns are the returns there.
Cham.
How do you see that?
Football goes beyond national teams, national team alone. I think our problem goes beyond that. There are a combination of several factors. What Musa states when it comes to the sponsorship, that's one aspect. But another aspect is that, first of all, where is our major source of funding as a football federation? FIFA and CAF. Finish. FIFA. Or FIFA even.
Not
you understand?
And this CAF is experiencing problems at the moment.
And this FIFA money is what?
Is just like
it's a donor fund. But this donor fund, we pay tax on it. Oh yes.
Yeah.
Every service,
tax you.
Every service that we pay, even
if we give contracts, they have to have withholding.
It doesn't matter. You pay even if it is a $10, you have to pay withholding tax. You understand? And these businesses that are offering these services for us, they will have to make their profit. They will have to pay their overheads and also make profit. So they are going to charge that withholding tax on us. Which for me personally, I don't understand, because football needs those tax, at least a favorable tax system. But at least even a policy here in the country that donor funds are not taxed. Why is the money
that's in place?
Of course, donor funds are not being taxed. Why is donor fund coming to from FIFA to the GFF being taxed? How many million do we pay in terms of tax?
That should be indicated.
No, but also it is all because of the politics. Because there was a point in time the GFF was not paying withholding tax, but some people, football stakeholders, wrote to the GRA that GFF is receiving millions. They should be paying money because of politics. I mean, that's how it started. So you understand? And then look at football now. Let's have. Today we are facing all sorts of problems with our youths. The crime rate is increasing because the youth don't have what to do. Now, do we see the opportunity of sports, football in particular, as that product that can bridge the unemployment gap in this country? Take for example, we have a professional league. Now have 10 teams to start with. Each of these teams, is going to employ a minimum of 30 players. Pay these 30 players each $10,000 as a salary.
That's unemployment.
And 30 teams, 30 players for 30 teams, that is 300 players. You are directly employing 300 young people. That is different from your 10 each team having at least a minimum of 10 staff.
Technicians.
You know, coach, assistant coach, goalkeeper trainer, you know, strikers trainer, and all those things. You know, the physios,
indirectly,
you know,
even ball boys.
Ball boys.
The street vendor.
Let's look at this. Let's look at this. And you know, let's, you know, I think the National Assembly also needs to come in this. At least say, at least even if it is 2.5% of the national budget each year going to sport development and set targets, you will be amazed with the result that is going to create.
We need a legislation that will,
that
will give.
It happens in Guatemala. In Guatemala, 2.5% of their annual budget goes to sports funding. At least when you do that, now 50% of that, put it on developing infrastructure annually. The other 50% to the federated sport to run their activities. Yeah, we are going to see different. We will create a lot of employment.
At the end of it also, when you...
And not only creating employment opportunities, once people exercise, it is associated with what? A healthy lifestyle. If you are healthy, are you going to go to the hospital? If you don't go to the hospital, will that reduce the pressure on our healthcare? The medical bills. So those monies that we are going to use to buy medication for the hospital, you can divert it to other areas of national development. I wish our people know.
So there's a whole lot of we need a whole lot of legislation, policy framework to attract, because we all know we like sports. We're developing our sport, but funding is our problem, and how to get funding is where we go around.
Cham, this one again, my colleagues in Sports Council definitely have to forgive me. But this is where I was concentrating around. This is where the mindset is. The reason why I'm talking about the National Sports Council, we also have to look at our roles and responsibility. They should lead the issue of advocacy, change of legislation.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, this is why I said, if we are, if the regulatory body is interested in implementation, like the implementing body, now what will happen is, instead of moving forward, we'll be fighting over conflict of interest. One, can we come together, because they have a Sports Council has an advocacy officer. Either can we come together, work with the Ministry of Finance or even the central government of the Gambia to see how much in terms of remittance our players are bringing in, how much in terms of remittance is coming through our clubs. Try to establish that database and then prepare a proposal, because that's the way legislations can change. Because if we have that database understanding the amount of remittance being received through football, presenting to our stakeholders to convince them that, look, you know what, we have to make waivers here so that the return on investment will be coming back. I'll give you an example. We don't even have to go far. If you go to Senegal, Sadio Mane, because of Sadio Mane in Bambali, what happened? There is a whole telecommunication coverage through him to use his image. Sadio Mane built what? A health post that was not ever built in Bambali, in his village, since the independence of Senegal. Why can't we now come together, the GFF and all, the Sports Council and all these sports associations, get a statistic and a data that we can use as advocate tools and lobbying tool to ensure, like you are saying, the issue of legislation for tax holidays. To come in.
Exactly.
We know that there is the issue of telecom levy here and then their fuel levy.
Exactly.
You understand? But what can we give them as return to say, look, like example, maybe official is coming because probably Musa is part of the GFF, you understand that? But how do you encourage others?
Good. Well, there we go, gentlemen. Let's go back a little bit to the draw.
You take us back.
Yeah. Ismail drag us to the
I know our General Secretary is watching the program from the UK, and he, you know, he wish he could contribute, you know.
All right, let's go back to the draw and conclude in there.
Yeah.
We're going to be based in Yamoussoukro first. That's I know this is quite a distance, not quite much from Abidjan. Now, with all what we have said, Gambian people want the GFF or the Gambia government to put in logistics so that as many Gambians as possible can go to Yamoussoukro or to Ivory Coast to it. Is there any? Well, how do we go about this? Should be the question. Well, after all what we have said.
Well, I think first of all, the Gambia Football Federation and the Ministry of Youth and Sport, led by the Minister and the President of the GFF. They held a meeting over the course of the last week. And they've agreed on forming a hybrid committee that is not going to be cumbersome as the NCC the last time. Now, this is going to be a combination of few officials from the GFF and the ministry, and few from the business sector. You know, and the minister and the president are not going to be part of this committee. The committee will be reporting to them.
The minister and the GFF president
are not going to be part of this committee. But the membership of the committee will be more than 10 people. So first they have to identify these people and launch the committee, see how they can tap the resources. The only way it can be done is that it has to be done through the ministry contributing some part, the GFF, and the general public. You understand? Because I understand even the ministry did well in trying to put at least, you know, a large chunk of the AFCON budget on the national budget for 2023. But when there were budget, how do they even call it? Bilateral. When they went for the bilateral, I understand. I mean, and I saw it that what the Ministry of Finance approved for the AFCON. I mean, it's unbelievable.
It's negligible.
It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. It doesn't even take you more than one match. You understand? And I'm not the finance person here, but if we spend like the ministry's 90 million and the GFF's 35 million in the last AFCON, that is about what? 125 million. Yeah. If that is what you spend on the last AFCON, expect to spend 200 million this time.
Yeah.
You understand? Where does that money come from? The GFF is in red. You know, I mean, government, you know, with everything been said and done, also they have their own challenges when it comes to finances.
In fact, at the moment they're working on this, how to call it, bicentenary celebration.
Yesterday I saw a proposal of
Gingerbread.
I saw a proposal from State Mati Jawo, and that this was a proposal that you know, my finance manager was advocating for. We have about what, 2 million Gambians. Let's say every Gambian contributes $5. Let's say $10.
They almost did it in Senegal in
1986. Is that 1 million?
I mean, talking about.
They almost did it in Senegal in 1986.
And somebody told me, you know, when I was coming from the US, there is this guy, you know, he's an elderly person. You know, we joined the same flight. So he told me when Senegal first qualified for the AFCON.
86. I'm telling you.
He said Gambia contributed.
Yeah, that could have been.
So and that's news to me.
The fever could have gone, yeah.
So you see. So he said it's time to pay back. Yeah. He said we should go back to Senegal. I
don't expect that. But on a serious note, let's care controversies. You know, on a serious note, I think. I mean, I've been thinking on my own for the marketing of, I mean, and how to raise funds. Last time because it was the first time of that magnitude, of course, we could have done a lot more. And I think probably it might be perfected this time in terms of what we need to do. Because, you know, I mean, there's a little bit of, I don't want to use the word hypocrisy in our football, but if you look at the amount of interest that the public had when talking about football, our game, and I mean, when it's time for you to participate in that game, you don't exist.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
you don't exist. You disappear.
Should we?
So, but I'm thinking that this time around, hopefully, from Basse down to Banjul. Not 2 million. Let's just have 1 million. Let's just put 1 million. I mean, adults or whatever you are. Just give us $100.
Yeah,
that's all we need.
Put our money where our mouth.
Just give us $100, and then we're fine.
Could we then start? You know, take the philosophy and policy and start a massive campaign to appeal to the people in the public sector, in those who are employed in the private and the public sector, to contribute $100 a month from now against January.
I mean, this cannot be done. I hope, as Babukar mentioned, hopefully, because the sooner the teams comes out and then start the work, the better for everyone.
Yeah.
The sensitization.
Yeah, you mean the committee that
the committee is talking about, because not as the NCC. The NCC was a huge,
I think what we need to do is a good idea, and as a way of fundraising, is to, as Mati said, to get Gambians to donate.
No, if you don't donate on what belongs to you, where do you donate?
The logistics can work out. People who are in employment can straight away get deducted from their source of revenue.
Yeah.
That will be easy. And then the public can also have donation boxes
This time around, we want to advocate. I don't know. Why am I saying we want to advocate? Or am I part of it?
Are you part of the committee?
You're part of football.
You are part of football. You are part of it.
All right. I'm jumping. We would make so every single adult Gambian, and this is what we should all think about.
Yeah.
Adult Gambian, give us just $100.
Yeah.
Just $1 million. That's $100 million. That's going to go a long way.
Yeah.
That's all we need.
Gentlemen, I think we have done justice to both the logistics and the grouping and the group that's kept us talking since yesterday or day before yesterday.
I want to add something before we wrap up. I was at the last AFCON. We were together. We were together for the whole 1 month.
Yeah.
He went to Eterab, unfortunately. He was quarantined,
That was a good one.
I know about it.
This morning, the coach sent me some pictures and videos of the hotel that we will be based, and the training grounds, and the stadium facilities. I think Ivory Coast is ready to host the AFCON. Cameroon was never ready. Cameroon was never ready. Where they took us?
Yeah.
Come on. My house in Tanzania is more comfortable than that. And they call the hotel.
Ivory Coast is ready.
Ivory Coast is ready to definitely, because I saw the hotel.
Yeah.
Amazing. Training grounds, top notch. I mean the stadiums, fantastic. I think Ivory Coast is definitely ready to host Africa. But Cameroon was never ready. I mean, Demba was better, but even remember when he went to Bafokeng.
Forget it.
Right. So you are really warming, our appetite for January in Ivory Coast. So, gentlemen, thank you very much for coming on the brunch. Ismaila Njar from Finance Manager at the Football Federation, Musa, President of the Sport Journalists Association, Babakar Kamara, Director of Marketing and Communications at the JFF. Thank you all, and we will come here more time to talk about our preparations for the AFCON in January in the Ivory Coast. Good luck to the Gambia. We'll be back next week with more brunch.
Islamic microfinance is becoming an increasingly popular mechanism for poverty alleviation, especially for developing countries around the world. This microfinance service adheres to the principles of Islam as a form of social responsibility. Yona Islamic Microfinance is the Islamic microfinance of choice in the Gambia. trustworthy and reliable. At Yona Islamic Microfinance, we provide savings products, current accounts, financing products in conformity with Islam. In addition, Yona Islamic Microfinance also offers local and international remittances, takaful fund, management of zakat, management of awqaf, trading and investment, and building of strategic partnerships to bring financial services to the doorstep of the poor with donor projects, madrasas, youth organizations, women groups, and farmer organizations. Make a choice with Yona Islamic Microfinance today. For more information on Yona Islamic Microfinance, call 377-2151 or 9832-151 or visit Yona head office at Tipa Garage, Bakote, or visit any Yona branch located countrywide near you.